witnessed an arm break. Last tournament over the weekend, I witnessed an arm break. And it's got me thinking a lot about the sport and the place that it fills in people's lives and whether it deserves the level of commitment that people grant it. It was a beginner, like not even a year into the game, and his arm. I didn't see it, but I heard it, and then I heard it happen, and then I heard the screams, and I looked, and it was obvious what happened. The arm was flopped onto the table in an unnatural position, and guy was staring at it, screaming, just like he probably wasn't even in pain yet. He was probably just terrified of what just happened and like psychologically processing the implications. It was, dude. Honestly, I haven't seen anything like super traumatic in real life. That was the most traumatic thing I've ever seen. Seeing that guy process what just happened to him and go through it all. Uh, Arm wrestling has some fucking severe consequences, guys. Like, I don't think people really pay respect to the fact that it could destroy your career. It could change your life. And when you put your fucking elbow on the table, depending on what you do for a living, you're putting your career on the table. I just hope that that guy like can do whatever it is he does for a living with a broken right arm. You know, you hope anybody who arm wrestles can get along with what they need to make their living with a broken arm, because we're all at risk, man. It happens to beginners. It happens to experienced guys. Dude, arm wrestling's consequences are scary, scary, scary. Oh man. And not only like the arm break was the worst injury at the tournament, but I saw like five or six guys get really badly hurt at the tournament, like torn nerves that made their hands go numb afterwards, like strained or torn muscles, tendons, ligaments, or whatever that just leave people like lacking a certain direction of strength. Happened to me at my last tournament. I popped some shit, and it's just like we all are rolling the dice every time we compete, and even every time we practice, we're rolling the dice on whether or not our career is going to get traumatically changed. It makes me wonder if this shit is even fucking worth it, dude. I've been really considering the consequences of this sport. It's really hard to justify being a competitor. We pay to go to these tournaments where we spend the entire day waiting. Yeah, we're cheering on our friends, we're seeing friends. It's a family reunion type environment. But I paid $35 to pull 3 rounds, and I spent, well, I mean, my friends who I was car pulling with spent, but you know, all said and done, it's like we're spending over $100 and an entire day off of our weekend to go put our careers at risk and pull a few rounds for what? Philosophically, I can really get behind arm wrestling. I can get behind the pursuit of strength, the camaraderie, the martial combat, just the iterative process of self improvement. Arm wrestling is beautiful for that. But for the competitive side of things, you're no longer a philosopher and you're just a combatant. I don't know, man. Is local competition worth it? How many of us are gonna go anywhere off of this? Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'm not gonna stop competing, but I'm like, damn, am I an idiot? Like, is there something fucking wrong with me that makes me want to do this stuff and I'm just like not realized it yet? And I'm just gonna wake up one day and be like, what kind of moron was I thinking that was a good idea? Like, we're literally putting our careers on the line, man. I made my video earlier. I stopped pulling right armed, because I was afraid of destroying my tennis career if I broke a right arm. But I can't kid myself. It would fucking destroy a lot of things in my life if I broke my left arm too. Like, I can't just afford to lose an arm. Nobody can. Not even if you're the laziest office worker on the planet. Like, everybody needs both arms. It's just crazy to think that we're so in love with what even are we in love with to that puts us to this point of tolerating this risk. It's weird. Why are we so weird as arm wrestlers? I don't know. I kind of wanted to make this video to kind of just talk. A lot of my ideas come to me in the moment while I'm speaking, and sometimes I say shit and I don't even know I thought it until I said it. But it's like it'll come out of my mouth and I'm like, yeah, that's what I meant. I don't know. I just think we need to put the sport in its place. Wherever you're at in life, whatever you do, consider the consequences that arm wrestling can have on what you love and what you need, and put the sport in its place. Manage those consequences. I think I'm on the right path with. I don't compete right armed. I still practice pull right arm though. I could just as easily go bad. So I'm like, should I even do that anymore? But yeah, these consequences, man. The sport is so punishing. You mistime your warm up, you might snap some shit. You mess up your weight cut and get dehydrated, you're at risk of injury. Like, there's all these things that we do. We're just riding that fine line between like you're good versus catastrophe. I don't know. As a sports coach, a professional sports coach, one of the things that is really prevalent in our training is like sending a realistic message about professional sport as a career and the fact that it's highly statistically improbable. The majority of competitors have no shot at a professional career in the sport, and it's statistically about equivalent to winning the lottery. You're about as likely to win the lottery as you are to go pro playing a sport. So I just think it's worth saying. It's like we shouldn't be getting swept away. Yeah, arm wrestling is getting big and it's hyped, and like it's bigger than it's ever been, and there's more support behind it than it's ever been. But like, let's not fucking delude ourselves and think that like we're gonna be on East versus West stage one day. Like, I bet even the best guy in all of our teams still gets fucking flash pinned by a guy who loses to the guy who wins the qualifier for East versus West. The levels, you know what I mean? Like, if you're watching this, you're not even fucking close. Unless you're Mendigus. Mendigus watched one of my videos. That was like amazing. Love you, Mendigus. But I just think it's important to mention that. It's like, we're not going to East versus West. Like, if you are going to East versus West, you probably know. You know who you are. But if you don't already know, if you're not already the fucking top guy in your nation, top guy in your continent, don't put your career on the line, man. Don't quit your day job. Arm wrestling isn't going to get you there unless you're a professional videographer and social media influencer on top of it. So, manage your risk when you're pulling, manage your risk with your training. Like, I cannot believe how many fucking injuries I've witnessed in 4 years of arm wrestling, or 3 years of arm wrestling, 3 years of arm wrestling compared to 20 years of tennis, or the couple of years I did martial arts, or the couple of years, like, I've dabbled in a lot of sports. I've never seen so many fucking injuries that genuinely make people not be able to do their job afterwards. Like, if you have a manual job and you take any arm wrestling injury, you're screwed. Like, I remember arm wrestling as arborist at the bar And he was smart. He was like, oh shit, I can't fucking do this because I got to carry a chainsaw in a tree the next day. That guy's smart. So it's like, how many of us are being dumb? How many of us are setting ourselves back in our careers, in our professions, in our real meaningful life progress in exchange for arm wrestling progress? That's something to ask yourself, you know. Arm wrestling is not going to fucking pay your bills. It's not. I'm sorry. I hate to be a naysayer. I hate to be critical, but that's the reality. It's like arm wrestling is a tiny niche sport where even the top guys are making pretty modest and mediocre earnings. So what does that make you? You know? Just think about that. When you're putting your elbow on that table, you're putting your career on the table. Even if you're a desk jockey, even if you're a guy who just writes code for a living or answers phones for a living, like, really think about the consequences of the sport. Hate to be so negative, hate to be so critical, but I feel like arm wrestling being so hyped right now, it needs someone giving people the hard, real advice. You know, the hard truths and the uh, harsh realities or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't intend to cause anybody to quit arm wrestling. Like I said, I think arm wrestling is beautiful for a lot of reasons, but I don't know. I just think the investment and risk that a lot of people put into it is disproportionate relative to the payoff. And I just would like to see people be a little more aware of that and maybe live a little more according to that so we can stop sending people home with so many injuries after tournaments. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.